about a time when you really felt fear, and how did you deal with it in that moment?
There's one episode that kind of comes to mind when I took a job in China when I was still living in Europe, and I was 23, so I was very young. And a long story short, the first job that I had got the contract for really didn't work out when I arrived in China. So I was left in the countryside of China, because this new company was located outside of big city, and there was nothing around. I couldn't speak any Chinese, and I felt very lost and very afraid, because in my mind I was like, I'm in the middle of China. I could get killed here and chopped up, and nobody would ever know, because I didn't know where I was, even geographically.
How did it impact your ability maybe to deal with further challenging situations in your life?
I think it made me stronger. It proved to myself that I was capable of more than I thought I was.
Do you use that sense of calmness that you needed to create for yourself also, let's say, on the stage? Because that must be terrifying. Everyone's looking at you, right? The stage fright, is that what you use? Or what's the technique that you do use to manage?
It's interesting because I think as a performing artist, you are nervous on the stage, but you also are eager for it, because being on the stage is also what you work for. Working in the studio is really nice, and there's a whole process and is a discovery. But then when you are on the stage is when you really test yourself, when you put everything that you worked for on this moment, on this 1 hour or 1 hour and a half in front of these people that you don't know, and you open yourself up and you make yourself vulnerable and you offer something and you take something as well.
How about some unexpected situations? Did you have some unexpected situation at the stage that generated fear in that moment?
Yes, happened maybe when I injured myself on stage. That raised the definitely that would be a fearful situation. Or sometimes when I feel that someone that I must dance with is not in control or is struggling, then I also feel fear, because I feel fear for that person. I also feel how their fear might impact me if they are not focused in the moment, because we also, when we are dancing together, we have to trust each other very much. You have to trust that we're both going to be as present in the moment as we can, and that means like looking after each other, looking after ourselves, but looking after each other as well. So I guess that would be a fearful situation to encounter on stage. The times on stage when I've experienced fear or doubt mostly because of some outside influence, maybe it's the floor is slippery, the music is too fast, my colleague is out of control, something like that. I always feel there's kind of this instinct that kicks in and just like it just takes me through it. There's no time in that moment to think about it and to be afraid and to be doubtful, because you are in the middle of this thing that you cannot stop.
Sounds like what we see is only a surface, right? So we see these beautiful dancers, and we can see also some unexpected situations on the stage happening. But by no means do people who are the spectators able to even comprehend how many things you deal with in your mind in the moment of dancing. Right?
That's totally true. Yes, very much
As you're
so.
speaking, I'm now realizing what a tremendous mental resilience you must have developed over the years to stay present under all those circumstances, like slippery floor, such a simple thing, right?
Yeah, but it can change everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe just a cleaner used a different product.
Oh my God, yes.
Suddenly you're in a pickle.
Yeah. or maybe the piece before you, they used some bubbles, some soap bubbles from the ceiling for effect, and then all of a sudden in the spot where you have to do your most important pirouette, it's like an ice skating rink, and you are like, oh my god, what do I do, you know?
Right. So you can never prepare yourself for all these eventualities of everything that can go wrong. So what I learned from you is that the best way to deal with it is to be rooted in the moment and really super present.
Yeah, I think that is really, for me at least, that has been the secret to find, you know, during my career. Because even I've been performing since I was a kid with school, you know, then it really also changes when you're a professional. You feel like you have much more responsibility to yourself, to your company, to the audience, you know. It's different. But then it also is very much more rewarding too. Feeling like I can work in an environment where I am respected for the person I am, and that there is openness to share opinions and to ask questions without feeling threatened or inferiorized or pushed down. And I feel that uh, in some dance companies that is not really allowed, you know. There is this kind of very strict hierarchy where you should know your place, and I should just shut up and dance because that's what I'm hired to do. To have a true artist on stage, you need to have a thinking person, not someone who just executes what other people tell them to, but someone who thinks for themselves, asks questions, wonders about the world, is curious about the world around them, and experiences life outside of the company too, because all those things are things you can take with you, and you can express that to your audience on stage. You know, the more diverse your life is, the more diverse you can be in expressing it. And I feel that's something the audience feels. They get touched by the people who are true artists much more than the people who are just beautiful executioners, you know. And I think it the more mature I become, the more important to me it is that I can fully be myself, not putting down anyone else just to be myself, but just be allowed that space, you know. And that means also asking for what I have the right to, you know, my basic rights, to be treated well, to be paid well, for my colleagues to be treated well as well, for us to have a safe and understanding environment to work in, to be able to share ideas, and yeah. And I think that's not always that is not always what happens.
What is your advice to someone who may be in fear now?
Is not the absence of fear that makes people courageous, is the choice to go through the fear and see what's on the other side, and you know, live through that fear, and then you'll never know what comes after. What I really think when I feel afraid is like, I have now the opportunity to stay still and just ignore the fear, or I have the opportunity to go through it, and maybe on the other side I'll still feel fear, or maybe I won't. And that possibility of not is worth going through it.